Candice, LeRae, and Indi Hartwell win the WWE NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Rhea Ripley on her love of weapons and best matches in NXT, and Braun Strowman says he has a very good relationship with WWE rival in real life. Hello everyone, Jose G here bringing you today's top stories in today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. To stay up to date with all of our content, be sure to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell win the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. In this week's NXT main event, Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon defended their NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Their opponents were the Waves Candice LeRae and Indi Hartwell in a hard-hitting street fight. Saying the match was brutal would be an understatement, as all four women put their bodies on the line for the titles. In the end, the Waves secured the victory, and LeRae and Hartwell are the new NXT Women's Tag Team Champions. Moon and Blackheart tried to ensure they retained their titles by performing many risky moves throughout the match. It was Blackheart, though, who delivered most of the jaw-dropping moments, whether it was putting LeRae through a ladder with a senton or splashing onto Hartwell over the announcer's desk. Shotzi did it all. However, the former champions soon found themselves in troubled waters. Hartwell rallied back by putting Moon through a table outside the ring with an incredible springboard elbow drop. LeRae capitalized inside the ring, sending Blackheart face first into a steel chair on the mat before making the pinfall. Last night's victory marked both Hartwell and LeRae's first title wins in NXT. It is no surprise and no doubt a special moment for Candice LeRae, as it is her inaugural title triumph after being on the Black and Gold brand for 4 years. As mentioned earlier, this week's win was significant not only for Candice LeRae, but also for the young Indi Hartwell. Along with LeRae, this is also the Australian superstar's biggest moment in NXT so far. It's also a special night for The Way. Along with North American champion Johnny Gargano, 3 out of the 4 members of the group are now champions. After delivering an NXT TakeOver-worthy performance, it remains to be seen how all 4 women involved in this match will step up in the future. WWE working on a documentary about the Nexus. In what comes as a rather big surprise, it was revealed today via Fred Rosser, formerly known as Darren Young in WWE, that WWE is working on a documentary about the Nexus. The Nexus was a popular faction formed in WWE RAW back in June of 2010. It consisted of the wrestlers that made up Season 1 of the original NXT television show that aired on the Sci-Fi Channel. Led by Season 1 winner and current NXT commentator Wade Barrett, the group crashed the main event of WWE RAW by attacking John Cena and CM Punk. It was unlike anything else seen in WWE programming and led to a fun summer of WWE programming based around the faction. Rosser, who was part of the stable, took to Twitter earlier this week to announce the documentary. He also made sure to put over his current employer, New Japan Pro Wrestling, simultaneously by saying, quote, "Today I proudly wore my New Japan track jacket during the filming of WWE Network's Doc's Untold Nexus because I wanted to represent the best hour of pure professional wrestling on the planet. Hashtag New Japan Strong, hashtag Block the Hate, hashtag WWE Nexus," end quote. It'll be interesting to see who is interviewed for the upcoming documentary. Other than Wade Barrett and David Otunga, no other members of the original Nexus is currently employed by WWE. Some would argue for Daniel Bryan, but he was only part of the Nexus on its initial debut. Later that week, he was released for choking ring announcer Justin Roberts with a tie. So if he's part of the documentary, it'll probably be minimal. Heath Slater is currently employed by Impact Wrestling, and PJ Black, formerly known as Justin Gabriel, works at Ring of Honor. A national wrestling company does not currently employ the remaining members of the original Nexus, but given their outspoken nature at times, it would be surprising to see WWE reach out to them for this special. Drew Gulak breaks silence after absurd incident on WWE RAW. This week on WWE RAW, Drew Gulak faced Angel Garza in a singles match after a heated confrontation backstage. Garza defeated Gulak in a relatively brief encounter, but what followed was a strange incident. Angel Garza tucked his rose into the backside of Drew Gulak's tights, and then he proceeded to punt Gulak in the butt as he laid face down on the mat. WWE on Fox's Instagram account recently prompted their followers to state a match outcome they wanted changed. Drew Gulak has finally reacted to the incident by commenting on the post. Ever since Gulak joined Raw, he has been heavily featured in the WWE 24/7 title picture among the lower card. In addition to that, he is commonly on Main Event, where he has some fantastic matches. Just a month ago, Gulak had a match with Angel Garza on Main Event, which had a similar result to the one last night. However, it didn't have the same post-match angle. Rhea Ripley on her love of weapons and best matches in NXT. Rhea Ripley is arguably one of the best performers on the women's roster in WWE. She has consistently been involved in some of the best women's matches in WWE history ever since she joined the company, many of them during her time in NXT. In a recent interview with Ryan Satin in the Out of Character podcast, Ripley was asked to name her 3 favorite matches on the Black and Gold brand. It was here that the Nightmare disclosed her love for matches involving weapons. When asked to name her favorite matches, Ripley hesitated before settling on 3, beginning with her match against Shayna Baszler in NXT. The match is a memorable one, with Ripley capturing the NXT Women's title from Baszler, as well as a huge fan celebration that came after the match. The Raw Women's Champion then named her first ever women's edition of War Games, and it was here that Ripley went into detail about using weapons by saying, quote, "I think my other one would be the Women's War Games match, because I got to use weapons, and that's something I've always wanted to do. So that would be definitely in my top 3 for sure. They suck so bad, but they're so much fun to hit people with. Getting hit with them really hurts, but I don't mind swinging." End quote. That match was definitely quite a sight to behold, as all the women involved put on an incredible performance. Rhea Ripley rounded off her top 3 with her final match on NXT against Raquel Gonzalez, which she says has a special place in her heart. The fact that it was a last women standing match involving weapons was also a huge positive for Ripley. As per Sonya Deville's decision on the most recent episode of Monday Night Raw, Rhea Ripley will defend her Raw Women's Championship in a triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash. The Nightmare was originally supposed to face Asuka in a one-on-one match, but Charlotte Flair, who seems to have Sonya Deville in her pocket, coaxed the WWE official into putting her in the match as well. Braun Strowman says he has a very good relationship with WWE rival in real life. Braun Strowman has revealed he has a very good relationship with on-screen WWE rival Shane McMahon behind the scenes. The 37-year-old spent the first few months of 2021 feuding with McMahon on WWE RAW. On the first night of WrestleMania 37, Strowman defeated the former SmackDown commissioner in a steel cage match. Speaking to Bleacher Report's Graham Matthews, the one-time Universal Champion said he and McMahon had wanted to face each other for several years, by saying, quote, "It was a seed that had been planted for a while. Shane and I have wanted to do one for quite a few years now. Behind the scenes, we have a very good relationship. And let's be real, Shane's a lunatic. That works great with my style because I don't go out there and think about anything. I just do it. It ended up working out well." End quote. The highlight of WrestleMania 37 match came when Braun Strowman launched Shane McMahon off the top of the steel cage. The Monster Among Men followed up with a running power slam to pick up the victory. Shane McMahon has not appeared on WWE TV since night 1 of WrestleMania 37. Meanwhile, Braun Strowman is now set to face Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre in a WWE Championship triple threat match at WrestleMania Backlash on May 16th. Strowman had a 141-day reign as Universal Champion in 2020, but he has never held the WWE Championship. Braun Strowman's only previous WWE Championship opportunity came in the 2016 Royal Rumble match, where Triple H outlasted 29 other superstars to win the title from Roman Reigns. Thanks for watching today's Sportskeeda Wrestling News Roundup. For more news stories and exclusive content, be sure to follow us on all social media. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Download the Sportskeeda app for the most up-to-date stories in the world of wrestling.